There are 24 moves that tilt attraction in your favour. Historians, diplomats, and artists have used these techniques for centuries. Robert Greene gathered them in his best-selling book, The Art of Seduction. What you're about to watch is every law revealed, naturally, inside one continuous, cinematic story. Scene by scene, we'll break down each law clearly, so you can start using them right away. Mastering these 24 moves is the shortest path from unnoticed to unforgettable. Law 1 is simple. Start with someone who's already curious. Eva looks bored, stirring her drink, gazing out the window. That tells our seducer she might welcome a change. So he steps into her view, pauses, then offers a slow, confident smile. When you start with someone who's already looking for something new, everything else falls into place. Then, he writes his name and number on a small slip and slips it to the cashier to hand over at checkout. She finds it with her receipt and can text him whenever she's ready. People like to choose for themselves. When nothing feels forced, reaching out seems like their own idea, and that makes a yes far more likely. Eva is already at the cafe when the seducer steps in. They settle at a small table and talk easily, enjoying each other's company. Then he glances at his watch and says, "I have to go." Before he leaves, he slides a neatly folded napkin across the table. On it is the date and time of their next meeting. But Eva doesn't open it. She simply watches him walk away, her curiosity stirred by his sudden exit. This works because a warm, easy conversation, followed by a sudden exit, leaves her with a question she can't ignore. Robert Greene explains that mixing pleasure with a touch of uncertainty keeps someone thinking about you and makes them more eager for what comes next. Law 4 is simple. Show you're in demand. Now, Eva arrives first at the cocktail event. She sips her drink by the wall, quietly scanning the room. Then, unexpectedly, our seducer walks in. Across the floor, he's deep in conversation with another woman. She laughs, leans in, clearly captivated. Eva notices and straightens her posture. Next, he wraps up that chat, offers a polite goodbye, and gives Eva a quick nod before moving on. Watching someone else enjoy his attention sparks a subtle rivalry and makes him even more intriguing. You see, when others value you, your value rises. Back home, Eva picks up her phone and types, "You had the whole room hanging on your every word last night." A moment later, the seducer replies, "Happens more often than you think. Some nights I feel like Bruce Wayne at a gala." That's Law 5. Stay just out of easy reach. When you show you're busy and in demand, you spark a little tension, and they'll keep wanting more. Now, as dusk deepens and the city lights begin to glow, Eva and the seducer settle into easy conversation. They laugh softly, sharing small details about their days, until the words slowly trail off. After a comfortable pause, the seducer reaches up and lets his hand rest lightly on Eva's cheek. That gentle touch feels almost incidental, yet it stays with her. By offering a quiet, suggestive moment, and then stepping back, he invites her imagination to take over. Insinuation is simply that, one subtle gesture that leaves the rest to the mind. Law 7 is simple. Here's how it works. At Eva's favourite book cafe, the seducer arrives a few minutes early. He orders her usual latte and sets down the very novel she mentioned last week. Same drink, same book, same unhurried pace. They sit side by side, reading in quiet comfort. When Eva quietly says a line she likes, he finishes it with a gentle smile. She laughs. It feels like they have done this before. By matching what she likes and how she likes it, she feels understood. She relaxes and thinks she's the one pulling him in. That's Law 7. Fit into their world so smoothly, she leans closer. Then let her follow you into yours. Late at night, they meet on a rooftop garden lounge. The seducer is already there, with 2 drinks waiting and a single postcard tucked onto Eva's chair. On the front, a quiet cabin in the woods, and just one line. "Ever think about disappearing for a while?" He says nothing more. The card stays on the table as they settle in and watch the city lights. That's the trick. Plant a hint of the escape she's dreaming of. the time away from her busy days. Then keep the details to yourself. Offer the door, not the map. When the idea matches her own wish, her imagination will push her to step inside. Now, after days of steady messages, he goes quiet. The next morning, Eva waits on the train platform. She checks her phone. Nothing. A train pulls in. He's not on it. The seat beside her stays empty. That missing text, that empty space, makes her wonder where he is and why everything just stopped. Once someone starts counting on your attention, skip a beat. That pause turns routine into suspense, and suspense keeps you on their mind. Now Eva is tucked in bed when her phone buzzes. The seducer's message reads, "You feel like a vision from a dream. Ever wake up wondering who's really dreaming you?" She reads it twice, wondering if he's flirting, joking, or something deeper. Her mind fills in the rest and she can't stop thinking about him. Use just a handful of words to compliment and spark curiosity. Leave out key details so they fill in the gaps and get more intrigued. Now, we move into Law 11, where the tiniest details do the talking. Eva steps onto the patio and spots her favourite drink waiting on the table. Without a word, he pulls out her chair. She takes a sip and smiles. It's exactly how she likes it. In that moment, she knows he's been paying attention. Robert Greene breaks this down. When you remember tiny details, you prove your interest is real. That trust makes someone feel safe and more open to you. In the book, he calls this seductive attention, using small, kind acts to show you value someone and lay the groundwork for a deeper connection. Now we come to Law 12, where absence fuels desire. Tonight, the seducer never shows up at Eva's door, but her apartment is scattered with quiet reminders of him. The paperback he lent her, a short note in his handwriting, and a photo from their cafe date. Each little item nudges her memory, so even in his absence, she can't stop thinking about him. This is the trick. Make a great moment, then step away before things feel routine. Leaving behind small tokens turns your absence into something special. She'll fill the silence with her own ideas and longing. Now we reach Law 13. Let them catch a glimpse of the real you. On their walk home, the seducer stops under a street lamp. He pulls a worn keychain from his pocket and presses it into Eva's hand. He offers one quick line about why it matters, then falls silent and keeps walking. Robert Greene calls this the sliver. Share one honest, low-risk detail, keep it brief, and move on. By slipping in a genuine glimpse of yourself, you deepen the connection without ever sounding needy. Now we come to Law 14. Turn a secret wish into something real, even if it's just for a moment. Tonight, the seducer leads Eva into a small, quiet photo gallery. He holds the door and lets her step inside first. She stops in front of an image, a misty cabin hidden in trees, the exact place she once said she'd escape to when life got too loud. He says nothing. He stays just behind her, letting her take it in. If you want the same effect, listen for someone's hidden hope, then find one clear way to bring it to life. A photo, a song, a spot on a map, and let them imagine the rest. Which brings us to Law 15. Create a space where nothing else exists but the two of you. She puts down her bag and feels the silence. The windows are foggy, the fire crackles, and there are no phones or city sounds. As phones go silent and messages stop, she notices him alone. His voice, his laugh, even the shared silence become everything she notices. That's the point. Remove every distraction so your presence becomes everything. Take someone off grid, or plan a screen-free evening. In that empty room, the bond you've built finally stands out. Just as the world seemed to quiet around them, we move into Law 16. Show, don't tell. Eva sleeps under a thick blanket, while fresh snow dusts the ground outside. Our seducer slips into a sweater and boots, stepping into the cold. Then he cuts a green pine branch and gathers wild berries he spotted last night. Back inside, he stokes the fire, brews a strong mug of coffee, and sets both the steaming cup and the pine branch on the table beside her. Without a word, he sits off to the side, warming his hands by the flames. This works because comfort is easy to promise, but real effort speaks louder. She wakes to proof he traded warmth and extra sleep, just to make her morning better. Following that comes Law 17. Tap into someone's need to feel safe. Late by the cabin fire, Eva sits wrapped in a blanket, staring at the glowing embers. The seducer steps in, settles just a little distance away, and places a small wooden toy on the floor between them. She picks it up, turns it over, and for a moment she's the kid who once held something like this, not the busy adult from the city. Her shoulders relax, her knees draw in. It's a simple flash of childhood calm. When a bit of their past shows up in the present, the line between then and now blurs. They start to lean on the person who brought that feeling back. Now back in the city, we arrive at Law 18, use the power of almost. He and Eva sit close together on the couch. Her shoulder brushes his, she can feel his warmth. Their eyes meet, and for a heartbeat, she knows where this is heading. Then, without a word, he slowly stands and crosses to the window. He pauses there, back to her, one hand resting lightly on the sill. That tiny pull, so close, then suddenly pulled away, fills the room with tension. The takeaway here is, move in just enough to tease, then step back before anything happens. That gap of almost makes the forbidden feel electric and keeps them wanting more. Law 19 begins with him at the window. He gently lifts one hand and presses his palm flat against the glass. Eva senses the invitation and stands, placing her palm a hair's breadth from his. Side by side, they watch the city lights framed between their nearly touching hands. That silent gesture cuts through small talk and makes them feel part of something larger, a private moment without a single word. Law 20 starts with an empty room. The candle's flame flickers low on the table, and he's gone. Eva sits alone, nursing a half-empty glass. The chair across from her stays pulled back, as if he might return. But he doesn't. That empty space is the move. After a night of closeness, he vanishes without a word. She checks the door, wonders if she said something wrong, then asks herself, is he ever coming back? Take away, give warmth, then step away without warning. That gap turns comfort into craving and makes you impossible to forget. Law 21 begins in the early morning light. Sunlight spills into the suite. The candle is almost gone. 2 wine glasses sit untouched, and a faint handprint marks the window. Eva stands by the table with her phone. She types, "Where did you go?" then deletes it. Instead, she steps onto the balcony and scans the quiet city below. She isn't waiting for him anymore. She's looking for him. That's the simple move. Step away just as their curiosity peaks. When you disappear right when they want more, they'll search for you and think about you longer. Law 22 shows how stillness becomes the invitation. Robert Greene calls this the power pause. Eva steps off the balcony, glances down at her phone, then looks up. Across the street, he stands perfectly still, in a shaft of late afternoon light, hands in his coat pockets, gaze fixed on her. He doesn't wave or speak. He simply holds the moment. In that quiet space, Eva's curiosity spikes. She steps off the curb and walks toward him without a word, drawn by nothing more than his calm focus. When you stop talking and stand open and steady, you let the silence speak for you. Law 23 is when words end and action takes over. Robert Greene calls this the decisive moment of seduction. Eva steps off the curb and stops right before him. He lifts a hand to her cheek and kisses her, slow and sure, leaving no room for second guessing. The power is in timing. Move before doubt appears. Law 24 is the quiet ending that sparks the next beginning. He stands by the window as Eva sleeps on the couch. He could walk away now and let the memory stay perfect, or he could stay and start a new chapter. That choice hangs in the air, unanswered. What you're watching is our simplified ending, one heartbeat before he decides. This film is our interpretation of Greene's 24 Laws of Seduction. For his full, in-depth versions of these laws, including more endings and strategies, check out The Art of Seduction, link in the description below.